Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.
Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 4 of the Cannons and Tomahawks Podcast. I am Zach Martin, and as always with me is my Columbus Blue Jackets compatriot and the guy who basically wants to make my life interesting whenever our teams face each other. Alongside me, as always, is Alex Nuttall. Alex, man, how you doing tonight?
Oh, great. Since we got a win last night, it was glorious. I lost a bet. That's exciting.
I mean, hey, that's mostly on you, man. I mean, hey, that's what you get for picking against your own team in a shootout. So
I don't care. We're terrible in shootouts. It is what it is.
Hey, I know Megan's not upset because now she just got her free Kraken's hat out of the deal.
Oh, that's not all she's getting. So
you lost more bets? Dude, what are you doing?
No. I didn't lose more bets.
Okay.
We'll have this conversation later because
okay.
Megan, you'll be surprised. I promise you're gonna love it.
Oh, geez. That's gonna be interesting. But later on in the show, we do have some special guests. We got the Chi-Town Pucks joining us to talk about some Blackhawks and recapping that game last night against the Columbus Blue Jackets. But we'll get to them later on. But it's been an interesting week since our last podcast, man. I mean, teams getting games canceled, rookies getting some first NHL goals, and the teams debuting more alternate jerseys. I mean, what are your thoughts on this Washington Capitals jersey with a big white W on it with the stars above it?
I mean, it needs to be a big fat L, but other than that, to be honest,
I saw someone on Twitter make a joke about that. It's like, I wonder how long it's going to take before someone photoshops an L on the jersey.
Oh, as soon as I saw it, it took me about 3 minutes. Nope. You can throw an L on it. Doesn't matter.
Like you're just setting yourself up to just get memed on, with the Chicago Cubs and their W flag.
We're sure. Honestly, I mean, I don't mind them. I think they're kind of cool. The Capitals are typically red and they go to blue, and the Blue Jackets are typically blue and their reverse retro is red. So why not? We're throwing all this out there, so who cares?
I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's not the best one, but I mean, it's a lot cleaner than the other ones we've seen. I mean, at least they put more effort into theirs, unlike Detroit and all these other teams that are really just boring alternates and retros. So,
Dallas.
The Dallas retros, yes, but that neon green and black one though.
Oh, that one is slick.
Those ones are fire. Those ones are 100% nice.
Slick.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say they're adding this to the jersey collection for sure. I mean, I wouldn't blame you. I mean, those ones are nice. I mean,
I definitely am. That's for sure.
It'd be kind of funny that they actually did glow in the dark. So if you want to go out somewhere, you can actually just see yourself. You can see just a big D with a star and the stripes on the jersey. That would actually be kind of cool, honestly.
Yeah, they'll go putt.
Hey, play hockey at night. At least you know where your teammates at.
Exactly.
On the ODRs. There
exactly.
They're nice. I like them. them.
Yeah. Next up, so the Vegas Golden Knights and St. Louis Blues games got postponed out of an abundance of caution due to COVID-19 situations and protocols. So there's not much saying, honestly, with that. It's going to happen this year. That's not going to be the last. The Blue Jackets and Blackhawks might have their game tomorrow postponed. So
we do bring that up with the Chi-Town. We're probably going to talk about that later with Chi-Town Pucks, but we all knew this was going to happen. I mean, the Stars started their season late. Carolina got one of their games. It's just, that's why luckily the league did what other leagues or sports haven't done, where they've given a big window to be able to fit games in and stuff like that. So that's why the hockey season's 4 months compared to baseball's was like 60 and 66 or something like that. So at least the NHL, like, we do have our gripes with some stuff that Batman in the league does, but at least the league was like, we're going to try to give enough time to be able to fit games in later on. So
for sure. Absolutely. Alexis Lafreniere gets his first NHL goal in overtime. Fun fact about that, he's actually the first player who was the first overall pick to get his first NHL goal in overtime.
Oh, there you go. I mean, first for everything, right?
Yeah, of course. That's pretty cool.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm curious to see if this is gonna be the start of him being the guy that everyone thinks he's gonna be. I mean, we talk about this with Jack Hughes and stuff, and it's gonna take time. I mean, we won't really expect guys to come out of the gate hot and start dropping points left and right. I mean, we're talking from the QMJHL to the NHL. I mean, that's a big jump. So I mean, congratulations to him for sure. So it's nice to see him get his first goal in the league. So it's interesting to see what he does after that. If
Yeah.
he's going to get a lot more.
I don't think he's going to all of a sudden pick up, especially this season. I don't think he's going to pick up to be the guy that everyone's expecting him to. You know, I think it's going to be a lot. He's not going to come in and be a McDavid or an Austin Matthews in his first game netting 4 goals. That's not going to happen.
It's going to make it interesting to see who's going to win the Calder this year, because especially with a lot of other guys, you know, around the league that we've seen, you know, the kid from Minnesota, you know, there's a couple of guys in Chicago that are going to make a case for their names to get thrown in there. I mean, there's guys all over the league right now that are a bunch of rookies who are going to be like, not so fast, my friend. We might have a say here in the Calder race.
Yeah.
So
and
I want to put all my chips on Lafreniere to do something this year.
I think my issue with him, and not him as a person, it's just a situation. So, for example, Austin Matthews came in. Who was overshadowing him? Really nobody. Connor McDavid came in. Who was overshadowing him other than Wayne Gretzky's legacy? Really nobody. Lafreniere comes in. Who's overshadowing him? Artemi Panarin. Then you have Mika Zibanejad, Ryan Strome, Chris Kreider. Like, he's
one of his teammates who just got drafted not too long ago either.
Yeah.
Before that, like the season before.
Mm-hmm. And you know, he's going to be good. Don't get me wrong, but I think right now it's just a crappy situation for him to be in, because he is being overshadowed by so many good guys already that he doesn't get the spotlight that he was expected to have. Yeah.
It's just one of those things. You just got to wait and see how it goes, and, you know, give him a regular season, like a normal season where we're playing, you know, the normal set of games we usually do get. He'll be fine. It's an unfortunate season for him to be in, coming into the league where we got 56 games. You know, you're only playing the same teams in your division. That's really about it. So I wouldn't put too much stock into how his career is going to be with a season like this. It's just nothing you can really do about that. It's not really against him. So plus, like we said too, there's a lot of other rookies who are making names already for Calder shots. So I mean, Lafreniere will be fine.
Kevin Fiala got suspended 3 games for boarding the Kings' Matt Roy.
I saw that. That looked kind of rough. That definitely warranted 3 games for sure.
I think there's some debate on that too. I know the 10 in a game was warranted. I've seen a lot of 50-50 banter on if it actually warranted a 3-game suspension or not.
I mean, I'm
on the side of maybe 1 or 2, but
I would say maybe 2 max. I mean, 3. You can make a case for maybe why the 3 is or isn't enough, but I agree. I say maybe 2 max would probably be the best set for that for sure. But
it is the Department of Player Safety. I mean, that's about as consistent as the news on TV. You're going to get the same story everywhere. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Did you see what's going on with the Coyotes' old GM?
Yeah, I saw he got suspended for the rest of the calendar year. So basically, he can't be part of any organization until next season. Or I should say next year in 2022, which could be probably a good 3 months after the season already started. So you know, Arizona GM John Chayka. Is that how you pronounce his last name? Chayka?
I have no idea. I think so.
Something like that. So he's suspended from all NHL activity through the end of the 2021 calendar year. If anyone doesn't know what's going on, basically the Coyotes did a lot of illegal, I want to say, training with, I think, what was it, like, guys going into like training camps, or not going to training camps, but like before the draft, and a bunch of other things that were going on. There's like a lot of stuff that happened in Arizona where it was just
they were doing some prospect physicals and things like that just were not they were not within NHL protocol, and they found out and they got in trouble. That's why Arizona lost some draft picks from this past draft. I don't remember if they lost any more in the future. I mean, it's Arizona. No one really cares. So I haven't really looked too much into it, to be honest with you.
Jeez.
One of the
Yes.
cool things that I saw happen this past week was John Forsland, who was the voice of the Canes, is actually going to be the TV announcer for the Seattle Kraken.
I mean,
I think that's cool. Like
Yeah.
outside of the Blue Jackets and Jeff Rimmer, obviously, Forsland's probably one of the most exciting guys to listen to. I think that's a solid choice that the Kraken got in that. That's going to be really cool to listen
for
to.
sure. Yeah, I mean, Forsland does a lot of the national stuff for NBCSN as well, because him and Eddie Olczyk have been together for a little while now. And John Forsland's been with the organization, and even when they were back with the Whalers, I mean, that's how long he's been with Carolina. And I mean, he's definitely a staple for sure. I mean, Carolina is my dad's team because we used to live down in Raleigh for a little while. So, you get used to John Forsland. So, I mean, congratulations to him for being the first, TV play-by-play guy for the Kraken. I mean, they got a great deal out of that. Now you have just Ron Francis, and now you got John Forsland doing all just behind the scenes stuff and on TV. I mean, couldn't have picked a better guy to do that. So I know for Carolina fans, it probably stinks for them because of the fact that they lost Chuck Keaton as their radio guy. Now they're going to lose their TV guy and John Forsland. I mean, I know they're all going to be happy for him, but yet you would think for them, it's like they're losing two big staples that they're used to hearing for the last, since the team formed in '97.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be a solid thing for the Kraken to start off with for their TV.
Yeah.
I mean, now all you need is 50,000 bandwagon fans, just like Vegas got.
Yeah, pretty much just the entire city of Seattle, and probably some fans who don't like the Vancouver Canucks enough in Canada who want to become Seattle Kraken fans. So, I mean,
or
plus
clowns that
everyone
live in Minnesota.
Or
shout out to you, Derek.
Yeesh.
No, but honestly, it's going to be cool. I'll watch their games for sure. I think it's going to be cool. Their logo is just sick. First off,
their home sweater is pretty nice. Honestly, I'm curious to see their whole setup is going to be nice. I mean,
okay, who do you think is going to get a Winter Classic game first, the Kraken or the Blue Jackets?
Kraken. It's going to be the Kraken against Vegas, and it's going to be somewhere. It's going to be somewhere interesting for sure. I think it's going to be like a Lake Tahoe situation, or it's going to be, let's put it like
the game in the middle of Portland.
Yeah, put it in Portland, because why not? Yeah. I think Seattle's going to get one before you guys do.
Oh, for sure. I think the expansion team that I'm sure is going to happen in 2040 is going to get one before the Blue Jackets. I think I'll be like 65 and have grandchildren before that happens.
Wait, 24. I mean, that's only like what, 19 years from now?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Shout out to Megan from the Slapshot Sweethearts. And this beautiful tidbit: the Penguins general manager, Jim Rutherford, resigns effective immediately, citing personal reasons. Obviously, they said that it was personal reasons, but what I saw is rumors circulating that he was in the middle of working on a trade for, I believe it was Chris Letang, and that management did not like that. So apparently it was his personal reasons were allegedly the fact that he couldn't make trades and make decisions regarding trades and players that he wanted to by himself. Again, I don't know. There's no public information. It is a rumor, so I have no idea.
Allegedly, this is what might have happened. I mean, if you're a GM and you're getting told by your office that you can't make any moves, I can kind of see why he's upset about that. But at the same time, it's like, I want to just quit my job just because I get told no. I mean, the owners do have to pay. I mean, we're talking about Mario Lemieux, who is the owner of the team.
Yeah,
I think he does have a little bit of saying what he kind of wants this team to do.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think being in the position of a general manager, if you have a specific vision for the team, the Penguins last year was not good for them. The year before that wasn't great for them, and this year doesn't look very promising either, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Why not? Because my thoughts are this: if you're a general manager and you have a guy like Chris Letang, and I've seen I saw on Twitter a couple things about should Crosby get traded?
Oh gosh. Could you imagine
why not listen
in Pittsburgh?
Like, why not listen to offers? Who knows what could happen? I mean, that's the thing. So Who was it? I saw
Penguins fans would be really upset if they lost Crosby because of the fact that he's been the staple of that team for so long.
I
It's
can't
almost like
remember who had it.
Taze and Kane. It would
Yeah.
just be so weird.
Oh no, it'll be different. But look at Chara. I mean, I don't remember who it was lately. It was. I think it was a month or two ago. Somebody had a press conference and they were talking to him. For some reason, I don't know why this is sticking out, but for some reason, I'm thinking it was Patrick Laine. But if you guys are listening to this, hit us up on Twitter and correct me, because I don't really have the ability to look it up right now. But somebody said that you can't worry about getting traded because, I mean, Wayne Gretzky got traded.
That's very true.
Arguably the greatest hockey player ever. So who cares? It's part of the business. So why not listen to offers for Letang or Crosby? That, if he's actively working on one,
yeah.
What could happen? If they wanted to trade Sidney Crosby and the GM for the Oilers is just blackout drunk and he's like, I'll trade you McDavid and Draisaitl for Crosby. Okay, done. If I'm the Penguins, I would absolutely find a way to make that work. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen, but still listen to offers. I don't see why that's such a bad thing, but
yeah,
he's not the owner of the team, and the other team gets to make those decisions. So I
yeah,
guess
resigning is a little much. I mean, but we're not going to speculate, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Personal reasons usually is, I mean, it's personal. 99% of the time, that never comes out. So my opinion, we're never going to know exactly what happened.
Yeah. So before we go into the standings so far in the NHL, we got some NWHL stuff to talk about real quick. The Metropolitan Riveters actually pulled out of the Isabel Cup due to health concerns with the COVID within the team. No one doesn't say who got it or what's going on with that. It's just because of making sure that the team's going to be all right. They just decided to pull out of the bubble that's going on in Lake Placid, New York right now. Hope all the girls are okay. Hope everyone's all right and got back safely to wherever they're at, either because I know the team's in Jersey, but wherever everyone else is standing, hopefully everyone's healthy and okay, and nothing's too serious. Definitely stinks to lose Metropolitan. They were looking good so far in their few games that they played. So basically that just kind of reconfigures the NWHL's bubble for the rest of the tournament. Now we got the first 4 teams in a round robin. Well, the first 3 teams are in a round robin right now to decide their top 3 seedings. And then we got the Buffalo Buttes and the Boston Pride. They are playing in a best of 3 to decide who will be the 4 seed is going to be to play the other 3 teams in the playoffs before they get into the playoff areas of the where they're at now before the semifinal and the final next Thursday and Friday. Alex, do you know who won game 1 between Buffalo and Boston? Because I know the first game was this afternoon. Do you know who won that game by chance?
Earlier today, it was Buffalo. They won 2-1.
That's right. I watched part of the game, but I got a lot of stuff that happened after that. I saw, though, did you see their numbers for people watching the game on Twitch?
Yeah, I got on and was watching the game, and I saw something on Twitter where it was like 14 or 15,000. I hopped on and it was over 30,000 people watching on Twitch. Yeah. That's nuts.
And big shout out to Twitch. They put them on their main page. So that's got even more exposure. So the fact they got 30,000 people to watch that game, that is huge. And also another big thing that happened, Discover is the official credit card sponsor of the league too. So great job by Discover to step up and do something like that. An awesome job by Twitch too, just to be able to give the girls that platform for 30,000 fans to watch the game. That's really awesome. I mean, I don't know about you, man, but I've been enjoying the NWHL this year. It's been amazing so far. I mean, I'm excited for when we have a regular full season, because for what the girls have done so far at Lake Placid, it's just been amazing. Like a lot of goals. The goalies are amazing. It's just everything about that atmosphere is so great. I mean, what are your thoughts overall just with the NWHL so far. Just how they've been.
It's
doing.
been a blast to watch. I mean, the times that I've been able to sit and watch it, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Toronto Six for winning their last 3 games.
There we go. There we go.
Beating the Minnesota Whitecaps, my team, today 4-3. Of course, you guys had to. The Toronto scored with like 23 seconds left in the third period to go up 4-3. Like, you got to be kidding me. Whatever.
Yep.
Minnesota's still gonna beat you.
Hey. Oh, okay. Yeah. I like how you're saying that now. Hey, don't be mad when the team's in there eating their winning pancakes tomorrow because they got 4 goals and got the dub. So I mean, hey, 3 straight. Toronto's on a roll right now. So I mean,
they've looked good. First game, they lost their first 2, but the first one was 3-0. But the second one was against Minnesota, and it was a 6-5 matchup. I mean, still your second game, you're throwing up 5. And
think about this too. The first game, they had 40 shots on goal in that first game. I think Toronto leads the entire league by a landslide in shots on goal. Every game they've led, they've put up like 30 plus every game.
They would have to, for sure.
It's an insane stat how many shots Toronto gets. I mean, for them being 2-1-1 right now as a young team like this, I mean, they could. I'm not going to say they might win the whole thing. I hope they do win the whole thing because they're my team.
I could see them being in the finals. Obviously, being a Minnesota fan, I could easily see Toronto being in the finals this year. They look very good.
I think Toronto probably is going to be in the final. I mean, because you guys is probably the 1 seed. Connecticut's probably the 2. Us, I know Toronto's 3. Then you got Buffalo or Boston going for the 4 seed. It's going to be interesting for sure. I mean, I would definitely say at the least Toronto could probably be playing in the final next Friday on Twitch, and I know I'm definitely going to be watching. If they're in the semifinal and the final, whatever who's in it too. But if
I'm
you guys are
out early,
I know it's at 7 or 8 o'clock that night, so it's on NBCSN. But yeah, if you guys haven't watched it, make sure to check out the NWHL on Twitch at twitchtv.nwhl because it's been amazing. They got lavender goalposts, they got a lavender neutral zone, which some people are calling the lavender zone. I'm all for it. And the jerseys all these teams have are just phenomenal, and just the talent of these girls are just amazing. So make sure to give all their teams a follow on Twitter. Make sure to follow. Just be able to watch the games. It's been really exciting.
All the teams are really active on Twitter too. I mean, they put out some really cool stuff. Like, I know, I think Toronto is probably the most active, and then after that, it's probably, I would say Buffalo or the Riveters. It's still all of them are really active, and it's really cool to see all that stuff. And seeing the girls posting and stuff too is really cool. Getting their opinions and stuff on everything that's going on, and it's sure pretty neat.
Yeah, and just for the fact that you can hit them, you can just tell them congrats on their first goal and stuff like that. Because Lindsay Eastwood got the first goal for the Toronto Six, and everyone just hanging up with thank yous and stuff like that, and or just liking it and just commenting back on stuff too. It's just that whole scenario, and just Digit Murphy as the head coach for the Toronto Six. She is. I don't know if you've seen the press conferences she does or just the videos she's done, but phenomenal stuff. The Toronto Six also have a podcast called The Six Fix. I would definitely recommend it if you guys. And Digit Murphy's the actual, so she's the president, head coach, and she also hosts that podcast. So I would definitely recommend it for sure. But yeah, just not just watching my team, the Six, but just watching everyone. It's been phenomenal. So I'm excited to see how the rest of this bubble goes and see what season 7 brings, because the Riveters are going to be hungry to come back for season 7 and finish what they started in Lake Placid.
Oh, I would love it. Honestly, I would like Columbus to get an NWHL team. That'd be sweet.
That'd be kind of cool. I mean, it'll be great to see more teams pop up and stuff like that. But of course, I go with Twitch stepping up and make them their main page, and Discover jumping on board and stuff like that too. I mean,
hopefully they can keep getting those big sponsors like Discover, or granted, I'm in Columbus, but Nationwide or something, a big company like that.
Fifth Third Bank and stuff like that. Yeah. Honestly, because TSN and CBC and Sportsnet and all of them in Canada are pushing it, and even the NBC Sports Twitter have been posting a lot of their goals too. So I mean, honestly, just keep giving them more exposure. I think this bubble is really giving them a chance to show what they got. So
For sure.
If you guys haven't, make sure to check those games out on Twitch, and make sure Thursday night and Friday night, NBCSN semifinals, both games, and the final for NWHL. Make sure to check those out because those are going to be a fireworks show. They're going to be fun to watch.
Oh,
in
yeah.
my opinion.
So moving on to the standings. If you guys are listening to this at this point, keep in mind it's 11 p.m. on the 30th. There are currently 2 games that are not over. Right now, St. Louis is up 4-1 over Anaheim, and Vancouver is up 2-1 over Winnipeg. So some of the standings might change. So apologize if we're wrong. Don't destroy us on Twitter.
Don't come at us for that. That's not on us.
So starting with the North, we have Toronto in first place at 7-2-1. Kind of not surprised at this point. Montreal is in second place at 5-1-2. Winnipeg, the big surprise there, is in third at 5-2-0. Vancouver's in fourth at 5-5-0. Edmonton in fifth, 4-6-0. Calgary in sixth at 3-3-1, and then Ottawa is 1-6-1 and in dead last. Moving to the West, we've got Vegas in first at 5-1-1, Colorado in second, 5-3-0, Minnesota in second, 5-3-0. St. Louis is in fourth, 4-2-1. LA is in fifth at 3-3-2. Anaheim is in sixth at 3-3-2. Arizona is in seventh at 3-4-1. San Jose is in last at 3-5-0. The East, which is probably the most interesting division to me, to be honest. Washington is in first, 6-0-3. They have yet to lose in regulation, which is crazy with everything that happened with them. Philly is in second, 6-2-1. Boston is in third, 5-1-2. Pittsburgh is in fourth place, 5-3-1. Boo. Buffalo is in fifth at 4-3-2. New Jersey is in sixth, 3-3-2. Islanders are in seventh, 3-4-1. The Rangers are in last at 2-4-2. The Devils are throwing me off, man. They are better than I thought they were going to be this year. And to see the Rangers in dead last is just confusing right now.
Yeah. It's definitely weird, that's for sure. It's like, what is going on?
Oh, absolutely. So in our period 2 segment, we don't have much. And forewarning, next week we're actually going to change the format up a little bit. I will have a small snippet about that at the very beginning of our episode next week. So just stay tuned and listen for that. So for our period 2 segment, Tampa gets its first loss in OT to Carolina. It was a 1-0 loss, so nothing too crazy. I mean, they're 4-1-1 right now. The regulation loss was to Columbus, and then their overtime loss was to Carolina. And that was interesting because that was Carolina's first game back from all their games getting postponed.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they came back and they were ready, so they got to win.
Yeah.
Did you see that Jimmy Howard retired?
Yeah, I did see that. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, no one really was giving him really much of an offer, and he was kind of on the back end of his career. So, I mean, it only kind of makes sense why he would probably retire. I mean, hope everything goes well in the future for him and stuff like that. Wish him the best of luck. It stinks to see him go out like that with no one giving him a chance. It would kind of be better if he was able to do it in front of fans and on his terms, but unfortunately, it's just the business, man. It is what it is. So definitely wishing the best for Jimmy moving forward, for sure.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the man's been a staple in Detroit for years. I mean, he was, other than I'd say Gus Nyquist before he was traded to San Jose.
Yeah.
He was there for a while. I mean, he was their guy.
Yeah, he was.
Was he part of their 08, 09 Stanley Cup team? Do you remember?
I think so, but I'm not 100% on that, to be honest with you. I don't really. I try not to give too much Red Wing stuff just because of being a Blackhawks fan. So that's kind of bad on. I guess it's kind of more so bad on my part, but I believe he was, but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he came in the year after. It looks like he was a runner-up for the Calder following the 09 and 10 NHL season.
Oh, okay.
Still, I mean, I hope he has a solid retirement.
Yeah, I think it's
Hopefully he can continue doing something in Detroit, whether it's front office or, I mean, you could say that about really any big guy with any team, but
yeah,
the guy, he's a good goalie. He would be a good goalie's coach or advisor. Just last year, I think he was like 2-19. He just had zero defense. And we all know what the Red Wings did last year. I mean, come on, they were terrible.
Yeah. You really. It's not so much his fault. It's just the fact he's got dealt a bad hand. The fact that he was on a part of a Red Wings team that was really strapped with bad contracts all over the place. Young guys who weren't really ready, and just in a rebuild that's taken a really long time. And I kind of, it's like you really can't blame goalies when it comes to rebuilds, because especially if even whoever, no matter who you are, goalies can do only so much, and if you're not going to get the help for it, it is what it is. And it just stinks that Jimmy Howard got put in the situation where he just had bad teams in front of him and he couldn't do very much. So you can't really blame the guy for the most part. That record doesn't really reflect him; it just reflects the situation that he was put in just by the organization in general, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. So central standings currently. My boys, the Blue Jackets, are in first place. Now, I don't throw a lot of emphasis into that because they're in first place with 9 games played and 11 points. And then Florida is in second place with 5 games played and 9 points. So,
and doesn't Tampa have like 4 games too? Like,
so Tampa has 6.
Okay, because I know there, you guys, but there's a lot of teams that have a game at hand on you guys right now.
Yeah. So all of these people that are saying, "Oh, the Blue Jackets are in first, we're a powerhouse," knock it off. Seriously, because granted, if you're going by points, yeah, but look what happened last season. The season ended early and it went off of points percentage, or it was going to. If you go based off of points percentage, we're in 5th. So, granted, yes, it's nice seeing us in that first place spot, but do not put too much into that because that does not hold enough weight right now. If it were the West, where every single team has 8 games other than Vegas and St. Louis, who has 7 because of their 1 cancellation or 1 postponement,
that would make more sense to get excited.
That would be different, but we have 9, and then the Panthers are right behind us with 4 less games played, and they need 1 win to tie. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
The Central is
it's all out of whack right now,
and it's not bad. Shannon and Megan, stop talking bad about our division.
It is not the Discover Central toilet. Okay, stop it.
Stop crapping all over our division. All right.
It's ridiculous. If you're going to crap on anything, stick with Chicago and Detroit because they're at the bottom. They deserve it.
Okay.
They deserve it.
You know what? I was trying to stick up for our division, but you know what? Forget you, man.
Hey, we're in first place. We're going to win the cup. Knock it off.
Says the guy who just said, don't take too much stock into it.
What are you talking about? We are destroying this division. In third place, we have Tampa at 4-1-1. Fourth place, we have Dallas at 4-1-0. They finally lost today. Thank you to Carolina, by the way. Carolina's in 5th at 4-1-0. Nashville is in 6th at 4-4-0. Chicago, the Blackhawks, are in 7th at 2-4-3. And Detroit, no surprise here, is in last place at 2-5-2. So
I'm curious who's in dead last in the league right now. My guess is probably Detroit or Ottawa that are in dead last.
Oh, it's Ottawa.
I feel bad for our new boys, the new Senzera podcast who just joined Belly Up Sports. Give them a follow.
Absolutely, go check them out.
I feel bad for them for the fact that they have to deal with that, but they do have good guys in Brady Kachuk and Tim Stützle, or Jimmy, as everyone calls him. But
okay,
I mean,
talking about Ottawa for a second,
they got Matt Murray, so
yeah, clearly he's not doing much.
I mean,
no offense, but
outside of Shabbat, who does Ottawa even have on defense?
right, exactly. Like, so looking at this, here's my question. All right. Brady Tkachuk, his contract is up at the end of this season. He will be a restricted free agent.
Yeah.
Does he sign long term?
Yeah. I think I think he likes playing in Ottawa, and he knows that they have a good crew building up in their organization. Look, they have some plan going on because they do have a good young core being built around them. It's going to take a little bit, yeah, but I think he's in it for the long haul because they gave him the chance. They made him the alternate captain. So, yeah, I think he signs long term. So, yeah, I think Brady's going to be a Senator at least for a little while longer until whenever he hits that unrestricted free agent period. Then we might have that discussion of when he might move on or not. But for right now, yeah, I think he's going to be at least a Senator until he hits that unrestricted period of his career.
I see him, honestly, with him, I see one of two options. I see either a 2-year contract or a 4-year contract.
I'm going with 4.
So the reason I say 4 is that'll get him right to unrestricted free agency and he can walk.
Exactly.
But
I don't know about the walking part, but yeah, it'll get you the restricted. It'll get you the unrestricted area. You don't have to deal with all the arbitrations and a bunch of other stuff. You get the restricted free agent contracts and all that stuff. So,
but
I'll go with 4 years.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, me personally, I think if I were him, with the skill level he's got, I know we just dealt with this with Pierre-Luc Dubois, but if I were him, I would sign a 2-year deal. And then at the end of that, I mean, you always can. I'm not saying give up. Don't pull a Pierre-Luc Dubois and just stop skating, but, see what happens. Because right now, like Derek Stepan, his contract is up. Anisimov's contract is up. Cedric Paquette's contract is up. Like Galchenyuk's contract is up.
I forgot they had Galchenyuk, to be honest.
Yeah. And
how many teams is that guy going to play for before he gets it together?
All of them.
At this rate, yeah.
So coming up on period 3, we actually are going to be talking with the Chi-Town Pucks podcast. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring them in, and we're going to see what they have to say about all the stuff going on with the Blackhawks over the last couple weeks.
And we are here for the start of the period 3 segment. We were going to start with the Chicago Blackhawks, and we actually have some special guests tonight. From the Chi-Town Pucks, we got Kyle and Kevin. Guys, how you doing tonight? And thanks for coming on and joining us for the podcast.
Doing great. Thanks so much for having us, man. We're super pumped to be on your show. Happy to talk Blackhawks. I think we have a lot of good things to say, even though we have a rival Blue Jackets fan here, I believe.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. You're outnumbered. It's 3-1 now.
And what Kyle said, ditto.
There we go. So if you haven't followed Chi-Town Pucks, they're all about positive vibes and try to make the Blackhawks fun and try to make this a fun experience. So make sure to give them a follow, subscribe to them as well, because it's always a good fun time talking to those guys. So definitely make sure to hit them up. So the Hawks did play last night. We'll get to that in a little bit, but unfortunately, we got some more. We'll start with the bad news first and go on to the good news. So more guys have hit the COVID protocol list. Alex DeBrincat was already on there. Adam Boqvist was already on there. And now we've added Nicholas Beaudin, Brian Carpenter. And was there one more left? Am I missing? Or was it just the only 2? Because I know we talked about before the show started.
Pick a name out of a hat.
Yeah, I think it's just those 2, but I have a feeling we're going to hear some more names.
Yeah, because before we actually started the show, Alex, I know you said Chris Johnson sent out a tweet. Do you still have that tweet pulled up? And so that way the people know what's going on with it?
I do. Okay. Yeah, so per Chris Johnston on Twitter, all it says is tomorrow night's game between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Chicago Blackhawks is quote-unquote in doubt due to Chicago's COVID situation.
So that does suck, but it's also kind of like it's a double-edged sword because you want to see the Hawks keep playing games, but at the same time, it's like we do get a little bit of a break to get Alex DeBrincat back and Adam Boqvist, because from what we've seen from this offense since we lost both of those guys, not so much Adam Boqvist, but more so for Alex DeBrincat. I'm not really upset, but there's a little bit of a pause. I mean, Kevin, what are your thoughts on this? What do you feel? How are you feeling right now with the COVID protocol? And maybe it's kind of like a good thing, maybe.
I was only,
but
the biggest thing with my personal schedule is it was the weekend before the Super Bowl and there's nothing going on. So it'd be great to watch a hockey game tomorrow. Besides that, unexpected bye weeks. I know the guys are going to like to rally back and take a little break. And as like Kyle was saying before we start recording, it's kind of nice that like we can get the guys and actually have a full team when we get back rolling. So
yeah. I should preface this. It's not good in the sense like, oh, it's good that some guys got it. I'm just saying it's good that the fact we got a little bit of a break to get guys back is what I meant. So not trying to take that out of context. So, but Kyle, how are you feeling about the whole situation? I know it stinks. We're going to lose a game tomorrow night, but at the same time, it's like we get the guys back probably whenever the Hawks do roll back into a game. Like, what are your thoughts overall about that?
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. Number one, we have to worry about Kevin's schedule, apparently.
Yes, for real. It's very important to this podcast. I know.
Getting the whole squad back is important. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't want anyone to get COVID. We don't want, players off the ice. We don't want games getting postponed. But there is this weird double-edged sword that you just touched on of if you have two players, the show goes on. And the Hawks have felt that pain. We're going to talk about the lineup they've been putting out there because of it and how that's been, in my opinion, detrimental. But suddenly you have four guys, and based on that news that Alex just read, probably a handful more, or they wouldn't be saying something like that. Suddenly you get a little bit of a break. You get everyone back on the ice. You get the team together, and then you go back out with the full squad that you want. So from a business standpoint of trying to win hockey games, great. From a COVID standpoint, this isn't something you want to see.
Yeah, I can even say from my point of view, if the game gets canceled, honestly, I'm not going to be super upset because that's one less game we have to play without Laine in our lineup. I mean, honestly, I know there's a lot going on with that, but I have a feeling he's going to bring a lot to our lineup. So hopefully, because right now I think it was Tuesday he's supposed to play. At the earliest.
I think Columbus said 48-hour quarantine and he's good to go. So
I mean, I think it all depends on his quote unquote injury. I don't know how severe or anything that is. He said it shouldn't be a problem. Hey, he was on the IR for an upper body. But
supposedly.
Oh, I remember that. It was a weird plane.
Something going on.
Yeah, that was very weird. Yeah, it was in practice, right?
I think so, because I know he played the first game because he got a goal and two goals and an assist in the very first game, and then he hadn't played since.
It's funny how a guy actually shows up to help his team despite he wants to get out of that town, unlike a certain player from the Blue Jackets who's really no longer there. But
Dubois.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So we thought Robinson was a problem. Now we have to play you guys with Laine on the lineup. Okay, that's going to be a whole lot of fun. But
hey, I do have one interesting point to bring up that might benefit the Hawks. Alex, you want to know the only guy that Laine has not scored, or the only team, that Laine has not scored against?
Yeah, he has not scored against the Blue Jackets,
which means he's going to pot an own goal.
And technically,
there we go.
He's actually scored on the Jets because he threw an own goal in there. I think
he's due.
He's due.
Yeah.
There's no easier goal than an own goal, and he's got to close that gap.
You know what? Honestly, I just hope it's an empty netter. Make it even better. Like, you know what? We're down. Pull Corpy or Elvis, and Patty, go just shoot in our own net. Get it over.
Hopefully it's against the Blackhawks because we deserve some more goals after Friday night's game, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. But so we want to touch on the special teams real quick, because usually in the past, I know Kevin and Kyle, you know how it is. The Blackhawks are usually, our penalty kill is amazing and our power play absolutely is atrocious. This year, for whatever reason, our power play has been absolutely on fire, scoring in 8 of the last 9 games to start the season off. They were 7 for 7. They were I think they were like halfway to the record was like 14 straight games of the playoff goal. So I mean, 7 out of 7, but now 8 out of 9, looking really good. And the PK is just absolutely falling apart. I know we were 5 for 5 that one night. I think it was Nashville or somewhere on the road trip. We had a good night, but I mean, Kyle, how are you feeling about the fact that it seems like we can never have both working good at the same time? It's always one or the other. At this point, would you rather have the PK be good, or are you okay with the power play, finally doing something that we've been asking to see from them for the last few years?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would rather see the PK come up a little bit, because I think here's my take. They're scoring a lot on the power play and their PK is sucking. And I think Kevin loves to say this, but water finds its level. It's a short sample size, a small sample size. It's not going to continue at this rate. Like, this team cannot score at this rate on the power play and cannot give up goals at this rate on the PK. And I think, like, what we will see start to happen is, I think we have a good PK. I think we have guys that are really good on the PK. It doesn't actually make sense when you look at it on paper that they're giving up that many. And I think you can say the same about the power play. I think we have a lot of young guys that are very talented. And as soon as you have a man advantage, the mistakes they make are less detrimental and they're able to, like, really have some fun and score some goals. So, I think at some point the power play is going to drop to like mid-level in the league. And I actually think the PK is going to be what comes higher and ends up being just the way it always has been, what we're the better team at.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Kevin, like, what are your thoughts on this?
I have a lot of thoughts. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of talk on like special teams really matter to clubs, like, but Hawks have won championships without like a second line center. So, like, a lot of it is hearsay, but a lot of our PK goals against are from like one odd mistake, and it just ends up in the back of our net. Water will find its level at some point. Yeah. But I really like the way that they're setting up the PP this year with just having two units that are very different. Just one, they talked about it, like, I think a couple weeks into training camp, they're saying one is zone control, one is shooting. So I love that you're coming. That's the best part. There's nothing worse than facing a team that knows what's coming at them. That is the absolute worst. Now you have two units that can go out there and do their thing, and they know what they're doing. It's completely just headed on a dime, just switching it up.
Yeah.
I think the PP troubles was because of Torts. I'm going to say Torts is a sicko, and he's a great manipulator of the game. So he's able to, he's a tactician. I'm a Torts lover. So I think that's more on Torts, not on us.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can't blame it on, on Tortorella and stuff like that. It's just overall, it's for whatever reason, the PK is just not where it used to be. But like what Kyle said, at some point, what both of you guys been saying, at some point it's going to come back up, and I know it's going to get there. It's just, it kind of stinks when you're seeing a lot of penalties getting drawn, and there's a lot of unfortunate goals, because we saw how it was in Florida for all those games. It just did not. You give them one or two goals, and then all of a sudden, it's 5-1, 5-2. And it's like, all right, when's this game going to end? how many more beers do I have in the fridge?
And with this defensive group, you'd expect to have a good PK. You really would.
I even think the offensive group, I think the bottom six, we have a lot of grit. And I think at the end of the day, like a PK is all about grit, being able to like grab the boards, get the puck deep, mess around deep with the puck. And I think we have that. It's just not working.
Yeah, because we got Camp, Carpenter, and all those guys down there. I mean, our fourth line has been really. It's probably one of our most consistent lines this year, and I'm not really upset about that. I mean, that group together is doing really well. So I mean, I'm not upset about it. So Patrick Kane did score. Well, not score, but he got a point last night. The previous two games before that, he didn't get a point. So. And everyone's, freaking out like, oh, Patrick Kane's on a slump. He's not putting points up. And it's like, at least he's doing something. I know he had no shots on goal in the last game against Nashville, but I mean, at least he's trying to set guys up. He's trying to do more than just be the guy that everyone leans on. I mean, we saw that with Pius Suter. He got a hat trick, and Kaner's trying to tell him, like, shoot. So, I mean, it's nice to see him actually, be able to do something like that, where he doesn't want to be the guy to be leaned on. But he did have 27 minutes and 14 seconds last night against Columbus, because they were double shifting him, because we're playing with 11 forwards and 7 D-man. So that kind of goes into one of the questions I want to ask you guys. And of course, this kind of ties into with Kaner's minutes. Does this 11 forwards and 7 D-man work? I don't think it works at all for any team, but especially for the Blackhawks, I don't think this works. I mean, Kevin, what are your thoughts on Kaner getting 27 minutes, and then just your thoughts on the whole Jeremy Colleton going with the 7 forwards and 7 D-men, especially with just how this team and what we've seen in this system being built and how that's working out with this roster.
It's like his third or fourth time trying it now in the last 2 years. I don't think it's worked any time. So I don't know why they keep going back to the well that's not supplying the wins, you know?
Yeah.
I don't like the system. Obviously, you're like expecting anytime you're putting Kane out there for half the game, you're expecting a lot of activity in the other zone, and you're expecting a lot of shots. But like whatever's happening isn't working, and I really don't. There's no reason to have 7D out there, especially the way whatever system is trying to roll these days. I don't like it. I don't want it. I mean, if you're trying to squeeze another D-man in there, like a young guy, and they're trying to let him grow, I understand it, but I really see no benefit in it. It doesn't work for the club. Yeah,
because I think the back pairing was like Carlson, like Mitchell, and
Imagine trying to coach that.
So it's like Sidorov. I think it was like Sidorov. I think it was like Sidorov. No, it wasn't Sidorov. It was like one of the veterans. I think it was like Murphy. They had like Murphy with one of those two guys. I forget what nonsense they were trying to pull, but yeah, they were trying to get Mitchell and Carlson to swap off with one of the veterans. It doesn't make any sense. And we even saw this last year, because even management's like, you have to change your system. It's not working. I don't think we've seen it change. I mean, Kyle, man, like, what are your thoughts on this whole Kaitner situation with all these minutes and just Carlton trying to shove it down the throat of this team? Like, we're going to go with this system. We're going to go with this system and this 11 forward 7D nonsense that he somehow wants to keep trying when we don't have enough forwards for some reason.
Yeah, no, I mean, Colleton did not reinvent hockey. Like, this doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason every team lines up and dresses 12 forward, 60 man. And there's no reason to just try to like change it. The only thing I can think is he's trying to give some ice time to some young D-men that are more developed and ready than any of our young offensive players. But look, like we had a hot take maybe 2 weeks ago. We got shit on Reddit for it, but like, bench DeHaan. Like, bench DeHaan for a game or two. He's probably not going to stay with this team to the end of this rebuild. He's a great player. He's done well. He's had some rough games, but like, if you're looking to get some young guys up, sit him for a game, bring up a young guy and dress 12 offensive players. Like, it doesn't solve whatever he's trying to solve. If the solution that he's looking for is having more young D-men up, take the guy out that's not going to be part of this team at the end. I know it's not great to just like feed them to the wolves and let these young guys like jump out there, but what we're doing isn't any better.
Yeah.
And before you end your take, you have to take it with a grain of salt though, because I don't know if a lot of like COVID implementations had to deal with the way his lineups were drawn. Like, that could have been a big implementation.
Well, yeah, with Alex DeBrincat being out and Boquist, that kind of led into it. But you would think, we have Highmore and all those guys in the taxi squad. You could easily get a forward to jump up there and just fill that slot up. I get what Kyle's saying with like, it would give some time to young guys, but why don't you just, like you said, sit DeHaan or give one of the other guys a night off and just throw another young guy in there and just throw a forward in there and have 12 and 6. It doesn't make any sense why you go with 7D on a team that's facing a team like Columbus where Tortorella has a system that's obviously worked for Columbus and every other team he's been with. You don't do that to a veteran coach like that. Like, oh, we're going to throw 7D out there. Then the other Torts is like, okay, then I can play my system because you don't have the firepower necessary to even have 12 forwards to do anything. So it doesn't make any sense.
You're in luck, man, because if we're about to be off for like a next week or week and a half, we're about to have like 50 games in 90 days, and you're going to have to rest some vets. So
you're ready.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to like, what is the goal? Is Colleton trying to win games? Then don't do what you're doing. Are you just trying to get some young guys in the lineup? Maybe it makes a little bit more sense, but after one game, did you realize this isn't working and you find a balance? Like, it's just,
he did that he did it for like 2 games in a row. Obviously it's not working. I like how they talked about, Stan Bowman, they were like, oh, we're going to be more transparent now because, McDonough's not there to like make it so enclosed. And you're like, okay, well, what's the plan then? You wanted to go young. You said you want to go young. You let Crow go, but then you signed Soderberg to a 1-year deal. I was like, oh, we need some veteran presence.
Mm-hmm.
okay. Like, so it's like, are we in a
Okay.
rebuild or are
I'm
we in a
okay with the
rebuild,
soda.
or-
I'm okay with soda. I fucking loved him like 2 years ago with the Avs. He was such a clutch dude. He was actually, I think, high rated, underrated, honestly. Probably
Yeah.
not going to put up the numbers. I know he's grown up there in age, but like, I guess
he's
you
not
have that.
bad.
I guess you have that young of a locker room. I guess old guys, it's going to help you, but I don't know. I have a soft spot for soda, so
I mean, I don't mind Soderbergh, but you still have veteran presence. Like, you got
Yeah,
we've got plenty
you
of it.
got Seabrook,
We've got
Tate,
plenty
whenever
of it.
Tate gets back. We got Kane. You got Andrew Shaw back again is with those guys. So it's just, I don't know. This whole system thing is just, it doesn't really make any sense. It's just, what are we doing here? Are we? It sucks. Oh, and I forgot to mention too. Walmart is also on the COVID protocol list. I forgot that
that's
he's
the
on
one,
there
yeah.
too. He was the third one originally with DeBrincat and Boquist.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
forgot about
So the Hawks did sign a player, Madison Bowie, to a 2-year deal. Contract's really not that huge. He played with Detroit last year. Honestly, I think my take on this is just, from what I've read, I think this is from Cap Friendly. They said he only needs to play one more game to be eligible to for what that protection stuff when it comes to the expansion draft. I honestly think that in the fact that they added another year onto that to make him a little more enticing for the Kraken to go get, because the only other guy that's available on defense is Connor Murphy. So I think the Blackhawks are kind of playing the long game and making the Kraken think, well, we're going to have a young guy that's available from the Blackhawks on defense. Let's go get him. I mean, Kyle, what are your thoughts on this? Do you what are your thoughts on the Bowie signing? And do you think this is an actual thing that the Hawks are going to use him for? Or do you think it's more of we're going to try to long game this expansion draft that's coming up this fall with Seattle?
This is all about the expansion. They put him through waivers the second that deal went through. Like,
exactly.
It was literally like, oh great, we got him. Okay, let's see if he clears waivers, and he did. And it's a smart move. I mean, we have no issue with depth on defense. We've got, I mean, what we just touched on is we're dressing too many D-men because Colleton wants to, and that's with one of our young D-men on COVID protocol. So like,
yeah, right. Yeah.
He's an up and down player though. Like, it is defensive depth, but like he has jumped around the A for like the last 2 years between either the Capitals and the Red Wings. He's not a full-time. He's kind of a full-timer, but I think he ended the year with.
I'm not an expert on how the expansion works completely, but everything I read leads to this being a part of that in some fashion.
Yeah, because I think if you're like under 2 years of playing in the league, you're exempt, and there's a lot of exemptions. So like a lot of our young guys like Doc and Boquist and a bunch of other guys, I think they're all exempt and stuff like that. So obviously, Lincoln is going to be exempt, and Carlson and all of them. So all of our young guys are going to be exempt, and I think guys with no movement clauses, I think they're automatically. I think they're already protected, so you kind of have to pick from everyone else.
Unless they get waived, unless they like, you have to talk with them and have them waive it because
So it's a lot easier than the Rule 5 draft when it comes to baseball. So at least the expansion draft for hockey makes a little bit more sense. But I mean, Kevin, like, what do you think? Like, do you think this is like what Kyle said and what I think is pretty much what they're doing? They're going to play him for that one game, make him eligible.
What's wild is my like Twitter game has been focused on Dogecoin for like the last 24 hours. So I haven't even heard of that take of this being for the expansion draft. That caught me off wind. I was like, oh, I like that. So I'm rolling with that ball. Yes, completely for expansion draft.
Because that's my only thought about this is like, why are we signing this guy who's not? He's got a. Honestly, this is what the Cap family brought it up that he only needs to play one more game, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, what if the Hawks are just enticing Seattle to go get this kid on a really good deal? He's gonna have 1 year left on his contract. Take a flyer on him, and maybe they can try and entice him and say they don't go after Connor Murphy.
Not even that.
Everyone loves Connor, so.
Not even that. Do you remember the Vegas one where we're like literally people are just trading draft picks? Like, hey, don't take that guy, take this guy. We'll give you a 4th round pick. Like that could totally work out for keeping Murphy.
Yeah, well, because everyone knows what happened. Yeah, because Vegas pretty much just stole all the good guys. Yeah, and they got super guts, and everyone knows what they did with Seattle because it's gonna be the exact. I'm still upset though that Vegas is exempt from this expansion draft.
Oh, I agree.
Bull crap, in my opinion.
It's nonsense.
That's so dumb. But I think the Bowie signing is just, it's going to be expansion draft collateral. Give him that one game, make him eligible, and hopefully Seattle takes him. But
I like that you keep saying Bowie like the good way. The first time I read it, I kept saying Bowie, like David Bowie, or Bowie. I kept saying David Bowie.
Yeah. I listened. I tried to make sure I was getting the name right. So I listened to a lot of podcasts of guys bringing them up and stuff like that. And
we don't.
I try my best. I still mess up names regardless. I can mess up baseball names really badly, but hockey names, problem.
You want to talk about hockey names? I convinced Kyle Dubois was Dubois.
In the middle of an episode, this guy's saying I said Dubois, and he's like, "You mean Dubois?" So then we're recording, and I say Dubois, and he's like, "You mean Dubois?" I was ready to flip a table.
Oh my gosh, man! I mean, Alex, I know you really don't care about the Blackhawks and who they signed, but what are your thoughts on that Bowie signing? Overall?
Honestly, I don't know much about him to have a strong opinion. I mean, if it helps you guys, then fine, as long as it doesn't help you when you play the Blue Jackets. Other than that, I couldn't care less.
Like I said, he's gonna play one game, and that's gonna be about it. It's really
that's just a depth signing. I mean, it's playing
the long game of the expansion draft. Let's just call it as it is.
I think that's what the Blue Jackets did when they signed Michael Del Zotto. I mean, granted, he's probably our best defenseman right now, but we have about 416 defensemen.
Del Zotto guys.
Big Del Zotto guys.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who doesn't like Del Zotto. Did you see that photo though of that?
Oh, his lip.
Oh, that was gnarly.
That
too.
was
just like
beautiful.
All right. Dude, Del Zotto already putting his face on the line for the Blue Jackets, and he was just there as a PTO. Hey, he's doing more than what Jones and Werenski are doing. So I mean,
oh yeah, for sure. He's our best defenseman right now.
Yeah, from a stat standpoint, he's like a front runner for Norris right now.
That's insane. Could you imagine Del Zotto getting that on a year where he's like,
got my vote.
I would vote if I could. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. So before we talk about the game against the Blue Jackets, the team was in Nashville, and the first game against Nashville was just, how do I put this lightly? A snooze fest. It was garbage. I was like, what are we even watching? I mean, Kevin, man, like, what are your thoughts? Like, just that game. I think Subban did a good job for what he did, but overall with the rest of the team, yikes, that was bad.
Like I said, man, I was focused on Dogecoin.
No, that was pre-Dogecoin.
Was it?
That was during the week.
I was focused on selling. I was focused on selling.
It was Tuesday and Wednesday.
I had one eye on the TV and one eye on my phone nonstop. But
he wanted that Doge in that game.
Yeah.
This guy made like $8 on Dogecoin. He won't shut up.
I was up a couple hundred and just crashed down. But I sold before it dropped in further. So we're good. We're good. We made some money.
I got $8. I can afford half of a beer, guys. Look at that.
I made 48 cents on GameStop. And then I made $6 on Doge. So
did you see the story about? There's a story about a kid who secretly
that's fake.
Yeah,
is it the one where he secretly went behind his parents' back?
Yeah.
No. He media ate it up, and he's like, I was just joking. It's like, yeah.
He got on some article.
How much I pay attention. I'm like, I scroll on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, and just keep going. I don't care.
Oh yeah.
He like reposted the article and owned them. He just did it all for like just from laughs. That's 2020 or 2021. I love it.
2020 part 2.
Yes. But my looking at the game, literally, I was like, when are we going to get a shot? And then that's when I actually looked up the shots for both teams. I was like, we're 5 shots through with 15 minutes into the game. Like, what is going on? Like, it was a snooze fest. It was a lot of like just neutral zone. Everyone skates in, turnover, cool. Skates in, turnover, cool. Oh, that's interesting. And then when is everyone just going to like just throw it on net? That's all you're going to want to see at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it was rough. I mean, at least Subban looked a little bit better than he did. Of course, he didn't play for almost like a week. So I
was thinking the second Columbus Blue game. My apologies. The first Columbus
Predators,
game.
Kevin.
Nashville.
Oh my god.
That first Nashville game was rougher because Subban was back in for the first time in a week. But I mean, Kyle, what were your thoughts overall? I mean, like I said, Subban looked good, but the rest of the team that was like, "Hey guys, are we going to show up today, or are we just gonna
Yeah.
Like what's going on here?
Yeah, no, they were scared to shoot the puck. I don't know what was going on. I mean, Kane ended without a shot attempt. I'm sure you guys saw that stat, which is just
I think
with this squad, that's just call it a year. Yeah, not a good look.
Yeah.
And then he ended the next game with like 15 shot attempts. So
yeah, it's like all right.
My take at this point is like it's we're not Colleton haters at this point, but if you go from a guy having zero shot, neutral.
Yeah.
If you go from your star player, Patrick Kane, going from 0 shot attempts to 14, I think there's a coaching thing. Like something's in Patrick Kane's head about not shooting it. And then, he's overly frustrated with the way the coach handles it. And so now he shoots it 14 times. Like that's the way I took it. Like something was going on that he's choosing not to shoot it. So unfortunately, like I think it had to be a coaching thing at some aspect.
I think they had some good chemistry going in the first couple games, like after Detroit, and I think they were able to make pretty pass plays, and that was ingrained in his head that they can do that against everyone, honestly.
Maybe, yeah.
And Kane was deferring when he should just put it on net, and it finally caught up to him by, I think even the second period. I think everyone's like, does Kane even have a shot yet? And then the fact that it went through the third and that went through was nuts.
Yeah,
it's because. Yeah, while we did play Detroit and beat them, it's still Detroit. So it's like we're playing Nashville. It's not like Nashville's got a bad defense. It's got Roman Yossi for crying out loud. It's I'm glad that what we did to Detroit because Detroit sucks, but you have to realize too, it's not every other team in our division. It's just going to be a cakewalk. I mean, we saw what happened with Florida. Everyone thought Florida was not going to be that great, and they just absolutely smoked us for. Well, the second game wasn't too bad.
No, I mean,
I think what national game was tough.
What Nashville showed us was, what Detroit showed us is we're a capable team. Even though they're Detroit, they're an NHL team. We are able to look very good. What Nashville showed us is maybe it's the offense that needs help, not the defense and goaltending, which just flipped everything upside down. Because I think the first game, it was like 76 shot attempts to like 26. And the second game was also 70 something to 30. Like,
yeah,
you're giving up 140 shot attempts in 2 games. Goaltending's not your issue by any means, especially if you're staying in those games.
Yeah, because you think about it, because you had Robin Leonard and we had Crow last year, and it's like you have really good goaltending. Yeah, your goalies are going to win you a lot of games when you don't really have all the goalies that you got who don't have that much experience, and you have our defense where it's been the last 2 years where we have absolutely the worst defense. We have way too many shot attempts. That's where you get 5-2s, 5-1s, and games where our offense looks completely off. I mean, that game was terrible. But then game 2, that was actually kind of a fun game, despite we lost in a shootout. But I mean, we had Kevin Lankinen back in net. He only gives up 1 goal in the whole entire game, 41-42. Stands on his head. I mean, you really can't even blame him for that goal that was scored on him. I mean, it's just unfortunately. He stopped everyone but one, and we couldn't get one past anyone. I mean, Kevin, what were your thoughts overall of that second game against Nashville where we lost 2-1 in a shootout? But Kevin Lankinen just doing what he does best.
Right. No, that was a hell of a stance. Like that. I mean, he definitely claimed the net at that point. Honestly,
for sure.
That was his after that game. But I mean, you could see the battle was there. We still have some room to grow. I really didn't take anything from it too much other than like, hey, this kind of is a reminder of like where the Hawks actually are and where they need to be.
Yeah.
So that was my view of that second game.
Yeah. I mean,
better, at least better chance out there, like better opportunities, but like you'd see the team like actually was trying to fix some things that were problematic with game 1. So that's promising to see, but sometimes you lose those games, sadly.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, Kyle, what are your thoughts overall? I mean, there's another thing that I wanted to bring up too, and I want to get your guys' takes on this too. Because we saw the penalty shot that Kane had, and we saw the shootout shot that he had. Is something in Kaner's head? Like, is there some reason why he's getting too cute with the puck now, and he just doesn't put because he's usually lethal on one-on-ones and stuff like that. And, we all remember the one against Minnesota where he basically just undressed the goalie and stuff like that. Kyle, how are you feeling about with how Kane did in the shootout, and just the shootout overall, and then just overall with that second game in Nashville? Because Kevin brought up some good points too. But what are your thoughts overall about that second game and just the shootout in general?
Yeah, Kane first. I would say, don't worry, it's 2 attempts. I think in his career, he's probably in I could look it up and someone else could, but he's probably in the high 40%, which is very good.
Yeah.
But 2 attempts, he doesn't score. I know I texted you guys, or I said it to you guys on Zoom, Kevin and Jordan on our podcast, maybe it's time for him to stop being so cute. But Jordan told me shut up. That's what he does. And he's right. He's been doing it for a long time. He's an elite goal scorer. He shouldn't change what he does because he missed 2. So I wouldn't worry about that by any means.
Right.
I don't think there's much to it. The team in the second game, Lanky, I think it was 41 saves on 42 attempts.
Yeah, 41 and 41 and 42.
OT.
Yeah.
After the whole game. That's an elite game. And I know I saw some advanced stats by some people, and it was 12 high danger attempts towards him. He saved every one of them. Some just impressive numbers. And I think what Kevin said is so true. He claimed that net in that game.
Oh, no doubt.
It's his net now. He's not gonna get even 65 or 70% of the starts. I still think they're gonna flip it around a lot, but it's his net to lose either way at this point.
Yeah. This goes into the next point. For the fact of how he's played, let's throw that for his debut out the window, because he still did a really good job. It was a 5-4 OT loss to Florida. It was his first game. All those goals weren't really his fault. A lot of them were deflections. But after that, he's only given up 6 goals in 4 games. And he's 2-1-2. I think it's a 216 goals against and a 930 save percentage so far this year. And that's including that game where he did lose in overtime to Florida. Both of you guys have brought this up, but Kevin, man, do you think with just how Lankinen's been, and for the fact that Subban's contract is for a couple more seasons, do you think that has Kevin Lankinen made the case to be the guy in net for the Blackhawks, just not this year, but for many years to come? And do you think with him and Subban right now, with his deal that he has, do you think Colin Delia is kind of the odd man out in terms of the rotation, and possibly even maybe be looking back at the AHL whenever next season starts? We don't have to have 3 goalies on the roster. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Lankinen's the guy. I was this summer, I was trying to say, with our group, that I thought he was the guy. He looked like the hungriest, even in the A. I liked him in the A too. He just looked hungry. He had the mindset. I liked his play. No, he didn't have the game reps, and that was the only thing against him. But for some reason, I had the feeling he had great numbers. He looked fine. He just didn't have the pedigree of he hasn't started any games in the show. Yeah. But so I've been a Kevin guy also because my name's Kevin, so I'm biased. But so I'm biased towards him. But yeah, I think he's going to be the guy moving forward. Maybe a hot take, but I think with Subban having more contract years on there and being his age, I think he's more of a trade opportunity for the deadline coming up here, let alone or keep him on and seeing what happens with the draft. The expansion draft. I think he's a moving piece that can definitely get switched around and be wearing an Arizona Coyotes jersey here soon. So,
yeah, that makes sense. With
Seattle.
the 2-year deal, it's going to be interesting with what they do with Subban. It's just that 2 years kind of made no sense to me. You would think you would give him a 1 year just for the fact that he played for 5 minutes last year for the Hawks. Give him a 2-year contract still makes no sense to me, because I've said on the podcast before, I don't know why we gave it to him. I don't think anyone knows why we gave it to him. So, it's just a weird thing. And Kyle, what are your thoughts, with Lankinen so far and all the games that he's played for the Blackhawks so far, and just how he's been overall? And of course, the situation with Delia and Subban, who do you think would be maybe number 2 whenever we get a normal season where we don't have to carry 3 goalies with us all the time?
Yeah. I'm kind of with Kevin. I think Subban is the third man out, actually. I think in the short amount of games we've played, Subban's been the second best goalie, but I don't think he is the second best goalie. The guy's played 65 NHL games at this point. He's he's shown everyone what he is, and there's a reason no one stuck with him as a starter. He's just not a starter.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't do anything in Boston. He did nothing in Vegas. It seems like he's like a really good, like for baseball, you know, he have like that 4A category where they're too good for AAA, but they're never good for the majors. I think Subban is like, he's too good for the A, but he's not good enough to be a starter. He's a good backup. He's just mainly a backup.
He's a mid reliever goalie.
But I think what you're going to see
mid reliever goalie.
I think what you're going to see is the team's going to stick with Delia over him and play it that way, because there's probably more upside, or there's more unknown upside. So like, give him his chance, play him more, see where it goes. Whereas with Subban, like we've seen Subban. I mean, he's got very similar weak areas as Delia, but like those are like solidified. Like he's bad at rebound control. He's bad at holding his net. And he's been that way after playing 65 NHL games, whereas Delia, you know, has not played that many games and he has room to grow. So I think at some point you have to look at like, do we have upside with Subban? No, we've seen it potentially. Yeah. Do we have upside with the other guys? Yes.
You also have to see who may want him still. Like who may want who still. What can we get out of it? Because more assets is something of us Hawks fans we kind of need.
Yeah. It's just crazy to think that they were talking about how Subban got so better at his rebound control over the offseason. We have not seen,
it didn't look great.
We have not seen anything like that. So, and another thing with Lincoln I want to bring up, he did lead Finland to win the gold in the ice hockey world championships back in 19. 7-1 record in 8. He started every game, 1.5 goals against, and I think it was like a stupid like 940 something save percentage, and he won the MVP of that whole tournament. Like we're not talking World Juniors. We're talking where he's facing guys like Ovechkin, all the Russians. We're talking like the Canadian teams and stuff like that. For the fact that he led them to gold at his age, that really says, because he's only 25. So you're talking, he's probably 23 or 24, being the top guy for Finland. That's really huge. So, I mean, honestly, I know you guys have seen my tweets. I'm getting a Lankinen jersey. I don't care how it's going to happen, because that dude is our goalie. And I even did an article for Belly Up Sports that hopefully should be out soon, making the case of why Kevin Lankinen is our goalie. Because I know you guys have seen his press conferences. That dude is like, that's my net. I've envisioned it. It's going to happen. He's like, I'm not going to, every opportunity I'm going to get, I'm going to take it. He almost gives me that vibe of Corey Crawford. He will stand up, he squares up the shots, and he's not aggressive. He's not like Delia where he's going to try to go play every puck. I mean, do you guys feel like that we're almost seeing like a Corey Crawford 2.0 in Kevin Lankinen, and just maybe with a little bit more of
we're seeing a Lanky
1.0. I'm just terrified of like, this guy's gonna have we have a long season ahead of us, and he's gonna play the most games probably. He's gonna have like a 3-4 game spurt where he plays poorly, and everyone's gonna be like, "We told you he sucks."
No, I'm not saying he is the next Corey Crawford. I'm just saying we're gonna see he's gonna be the guy who's gonna stand up and play the puck. But he's also going to be himself too, where it's like I love his demeanor in the press conferences. They're so great.
And from what he showed us, from what he showed us, he has every opportunity to be like a high-end goaltender in the NHL.
For sure.
So like, we're just gonna have to wait and see if he can keep it up, and there's no flukes going on here. Like, we've got a really good goalie on our hands that's just been sitting here, you know?
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys have read The Athletic with Powers and Lazarus. They asked like four scouts, of course, all anonymous, so they can be like straight up about it. They all said that Lincoln has got the better upside, and he is a legit goalie in the NHL. And so far, it looks like it. So I mean, like what you said, Kyle, we've got so much ahead of us. I'm just going to enjoy what we have. The fact we have a goalie that, even if he does have a bad game, like we saw with that 5-goal game against Florida, for the fact of good he's been, granted, it has been against Detroit and Nashville and Columbus, but I mean, Columbus they're good. We're not going to. So speaking of Columbus, Alex, do you want to talk about that game last night between the Hawks and the Blue Jackets, Corpy against Lanks? You ready to talk about that?
The game was boring.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah,
I mean, what was it? I think the Hawks in the third period had like 3 shots. The first period had like 4, and the second period they had 19. Like the game was boring.
This was a Dogecoin game. This was the Dogecoin
This is the
game.
Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Dogecoin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that game, that was probably one of the best goalie battles I've seen when they did get shots against them. I mean, Korpisalo and Lankinen were just, I mean, they grew up together too. I mean, they've been best friends for a long time. And so, I mean,
they train together all the time. And I thought the one thing, I mean, that just kind of squeaked in was Strome scored that power play goal.
You say squeaked in? I saw bar down.
Yeah, that was bar down. That wasn't a squeak in front, Alex.
No.
We'll take it back to the play later.
I don't know what you guys are looking at.
Roll the tape.
Man.
But that Robinson kid, though, can any Blackhawks player put a body on that dude? Like, he scored once, and he almost scored again on whatever we're doing. Like, Robinson was a pest in that game.
For me, his biggest problem is his hands. He's fast. He's very fast. Don't get me wrong. But there are times that he gets a breakaway and then he'll sit there and take a wrist shot 10 feet out and he misses the net by 5 feet. Like, I know he's a young kid and he's still got some maturing to do with some aspects of the game. But I mean, if you're getting a breakaway, you need to do what you did last night and bury the puck, not, hey, I got nobody close to me, I'm going to shoot it. And you didn't even come close to the net. Like, I think if he could work on his hands and just be a little bit more consistent, I think he would be a lot better. A lot of Blue Jackets Twitter calls him Josh Anderson 2.0. He's just not as physical yet, but he is. I think he's faster than Josh Anderson, but if he could get his hands under control a little bit, I think he would be very hard to stop.
The other thing that kind of made it interesting is the fact that save that Korpisalo had against Kane, when Kane was like around the doorstep, like that was
literally as soon as that happened.
Are you kidding me?
I celebrated,
dude. As soon as that happened, I thought it went in.
I'm like,
literally the second that happened, I texted Zach and I was like, "How the hell did that not go in the net?" I just multiple times. I don't understand it. I really don't.
He played one of the better. That was one of the better goaltending performances I can think of. You guys, that was a game that should have been like a very close game to the end, but no business saving some of those pucks that he saved. Like it made no sense. Like
it literally could have been 3-2 Blackhawks.
Yeah,
just because of the fact that we had so many chances, and Korpisalo's like, no, I'm gonna go full Corpy tonight and just give you guys absolutely nothing. And then we're all just sitting there like, all right, it's going to be one of those games, I guess, where we just can't bury anything. And Korpisalo's just going to stand on his head.
It's got to be one of the most frustrating things as a Blue Jackets fan. We had Bob before, but, now we had Corpy, who was sitting behind him for 3 years and was his backup. Now he gets thrown into a number one starting role, but then now you have Elvis to deal with, and you kind of have like 2 starting goalies. Corpy dude, he is shining. It's insane. Like my wife has said, he's coming out of his shell and showing the true goalie he can be. And it's frustrating that he got hurt, ironically enough, on December 29th in our game against the Blackhawks in 2019. And then he was out. And the day after that game, we found out he got elected to the All-Star game. That was his first All-Star game. So he had to miss that, which sucked. But he is such a quiet and consistent goalie. It's nuts. Like, he's not a Tuukka Rask level guy or anything like that. He just keeps the puck out of the net and doesn't say a word.
I'm just wondering where you guys are finding all these goalies. This is just getting absolutely ridiculous. You get
Dude,
Elvis Merzlikins.
That's Yarmo. Like in our we have
who the other kids you guys got.
Good God. We've got we have Jonas Korpisalo, we have Elvis Merzlikins, we have Matisse Kivlenieks, who Elvis and Matisse are 2 of the 3 NHL players from Latvia, by the way. So we have 66% of the Latvian players, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, right. I was about to say,
you guys are just finding all these guys with just names you cannot pronounce, and you're like,
I couldn't say that was very, very clean. I'm very proud of you, Alex.
We've got Veini Vevalainen, who he's in Cleveland right now. We also still have Daniil Tarasov, who is like one of the highest goalie prospects in a long time. I think he's in the KHL, but don't hold me to that.
Yarmo he's for some whatever reason, I don't know what your guys' European scouts do, but you guys are finding goalies like in all these places. You're
Dude,
just like
Yarmo just
Latvia,
knows
just
people,
like,
man.
geez.
I don't understand it. Yarmo just knows people.
Can we trade you? Can we trade you Bowman?
No.
Can we trade you Bowman for Yarmo?
No. No, not a chance. No.
I mean, our European scouts, though, man.
Yeah,
Our
they're-
European scouts are good, but our GM though is
Well,
Look at some of the players we've gotten from Europe, though.
let me rename this.
Shooter,
So
Panarin.
we'll give you Yarmo.
Kurashev, and
We'll give you Yarmo on one condition.
oh geez,
we're
get-
making deals. Okay.
We get a freaking Winter Classic game.
No,
That's
no
all it
take.
takes.
You guys
no,
have
no
had
deal.
15.
No deal.
that's
No
all
deal.
it takes is a Winter Classic for
But
Yarmo.
dude, that's why I'm
You
so
know,
pissed
it is
about
a
this
Hawks
year.
tradition to be in a Winter Classic.
Wait.
every year.
I love this. They're going to have the Winter Classic at that skate park right next to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. It's going to be electric.
Oh man, no, the Blue Jackets could put the Winter Classic on it at the new Columbus Crew Stadium, and then let's be like, all right, here we go. We'll use this place as our.
Yeah.
I would love
They
the idea of
won't-
tiny stadiums having like
Dude,
They
you know
won't
how
do
loud
that
that'd
because of how many people would show up.
That'd be so loud.
14.
That'd be
Yeah,
a loud
sure.
game if it's in that arena.
The arena's
That'd be
going to look
crazy.
sick, though. I need to
Yeah.
travel to more MLS places, that's for sure.
For sure. But I mean, overall from the rest of that game, though, I mean, it was just outside Strome. I mean, Kevin and Kyle, like, do you guys have any other thoughts of that game overall, just besides the fact that the power play scored once again? But it's just seemed like it was kind of one of those games where it was, like we were talking about, 11 forward, 7D. Tortorella just knew what he was doing and just didn't give the Hawks any chance in the first and third period. Like what Alex said, 8 shots total combined between those two periods? That's not really going to get it done if you want to try and win a game against Torts and that team that's so systematically set in their.
My thoughts on Torts is he would rather lose 2-1 than like a 6-5 loss, or you know what I mean? Like he's a weirdo. He loves to just like hold down defensively and play neutral zone trap. And that's what he did. He did that successfully against, successfully against the Hawks. So,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think like that was a bad performance all around. Like Alex touched on it, very boring hockey game. But I also am not that upset by the Hawks performance. Like I'm gonna whisper it. The Hawks are bad. Like they're not a good hockey team.
like what you guys been saying. Positive vibes. This is a development year. Let's just enjoy what we got. And I'm all on board with the positive vibes and just trying to, we're seeing some young guys play. Just enjoy what they're doing. Enjoy Lankin in. For me, it's just I want the veterans just to stay consistent. That's all I really want to see this year. It's just to see our veterans be consistent while helping these young guys develop. I don't really. The wins and losses are kind of whatever at this point. I'm okay with knowing that we're not going to probably make the playoffs, even with Taze and Doc, probably not. But like I said, the young guys are fine. That's whatever. I just want the veterans.
I left that game being super excited about Strome for the first time this year. I mean, we went into this year like everyone in Hawks media talking about like this is Strome's golden opportunity in the NHL. Like first line center, you're the guy. You're coming off a little bit of a rough year, but your potential sky high.
Yeah,
that guy behind the net against Columbus last night. I mean, he had like 6 golden passes that should have led to goals, but goaltending was lights out. So that's what I left that game happy about. Like, he looked phenomenal.
Yeah. All right, Kevin and Cobb, man, we really appreciate you guys coming on here. I mean, do you guys have any final thoughts before you jump off? I mean,
plug your stuff in too, boys.
Yeah, definitely plug your stuff. Yeah, where we can find you on Twitter, where can we find the podcast, socials, podcast networks and stuff like that. I mean, floor is yours, guys.
Yeah. So first off, thank you so much, guys, for having us on. Definitely loved having an opportunity to talk to you guys about some hockey, like having a chance to talk to both a Columbus fan and a Hawks fan right now while we're playing each other, which was fun.
Yeah.
I would say last thought before I plug us would be the Hawks are fun.
Yes.
The Hawks
Enjoy
are
the
fun.
coaster,
The Hawks
man.
are fun.
Enjoy the coaster.
Hawks
Hawks
get
are
on the roller
fun.
coaster. It's gonna suck,
vibes
and it's gonna
only.
be fun. And I want you to enjoy it because it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna suck, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
We're the Chi-Town Pucks. You can find us on Twitter to follow us daily, just at Chi-Town Pucks. And then we're on every platform that you can listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Overcast, what are all the main ones. You'll be able to find us. Give us a listen. We're always looking to have some random interviews on. We just recently had Dave Bolin. That was one of our big ones.
That was awesome, by the way. I'm big Bully, dude, especially with that 13 Cup series. Yeah, Bully he's amazing. That was an awesome interview. I really enjoyed that. So good job with that, guys. Really,
happy to
really
hear,
awesome.
man. Happy to hear it. And then we have Nick Gismondi, Gizmo, who I know a lot of Hawks fans are big fans of. We have him on every 2 weeks. He's a shining light if you're having a bad day. Just go ahead and listen because he's wonderful.
Nick is awesome. Nick is just he's so great. I'm so glad we have him.
Gizmo, that if you want to talk about why we talk positively about the Hawks, it's because of that guy. Like we went through the trap of just talking poorly about everything going on, and then he's the one guy like, hey man, just think of the bright side for like a second. Like every time he's got the opportunity, he says it, and it rubs off on us. It really does.
It does. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's great. But yeah, thank you guys once again for jumping on. Just to talk about the Hawks for a little while, talk about that game one with the Blue Jackets, and like what they said, give them a follow on Twitter. Follow them on all the podcast stuff. Leave them reviews because I know they would appreciate it. So, I mean, give them some love for sure. But yeah, like I said, thanks again for coming on tonight, guys. Just give us your time to talk some Blackhawks and stuff. So thank you for doing
Appreciate
that.
it, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right. We'll see you guys later. And we thank the Chi-Town Pucks for coming on to join us. It was great to talk to them about the Blackhawks and obviously talking about, game one against the Blue Jackets, which in my opinion, Alex, Blackhawks should have won that game. But Korpisalo had to be Korpisalo and stand on his head and basically save you guys. So you know what?
That's just another Tuesday for him.
Man, his Tuesdays must be a lot better than my Tuesdays because my Tuesdays I'm usually working overnight and that's not a fun day. So
yeah,
it would be great to be working for an NWHL team as a player or someone in the organization. So if the Blackhawks want to give me a call, I'm open to offers to join them in some aspect. So
yeah.
Just any day now.
Yeah.
I joke, but
no, he doesn't. Call him. Call me. Blue Jackets. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll see.
So moving on to the Blue Jackets section. Fun little fact is the game yesterday against the Blackhawks was John Tortorella's 400th game coached for the Blue Jackets.
Boo. No,
Whoa.
all kidding aside, awesome job. Awesome. It's great for Torts. He got 400 games as a coach. That's awesome.
I mean, people just every single time, like with the Pierre-Luc Dubois stuff and with Artemi Panarin, Matt Duchene, Sergei Bobrovsky leaving, it was all fire Torts, fire Yarmo. Guys, Torts is the best thing that's happened to this team. I mean,
yeah, he's actually giving you guys some playoff feelings. Like he's your
to
best
him
coach
coming,
you've had.
Prior to him coming, it was 15 years, and we went to the playoffs once. That was in 2008, and we got obliterated by the Red Wings. We got swept in the first round, and they went on to win the Stanley Cup that year. I think it was the 08-09 season, either way, or 07-08, one of those two. But then he's come in 4 out of the 5 years we've been in the playoffs.
And you won a playoff series.
Well, I mean, that's not that much to get excited about, but
it was your first playoff series win, dude. Like anyone would be happy, especially what you guys have had to deal with.
I think the big thing around that was the situation. It wasn't winning a playoff series. It was the fact that, it's Tampa. They're the President's Trophy winners. They're the best team in history. They're going to just steamroll the Jackets. And then they're like, you want to bet? And then, hey, watch this. Hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer and watch this. Just absolutely just smokes them for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you know what? Nothing to be mad about. He's giving you guys a taste of what a playoffs feels like and what it's like to win there. So,
for sure.
The decision to get rid of Torts it's not Torts. It's not him. for whatever reason, just random. You guys, honestly, you guys mostly have just bad luck. It's all it really is.
Yeah.
It's not the city, because no one says it's the city of Columbus, because Columbus is really nice. Just for whatever reason, it's just random circumstances. You know, with Jeff Carter wanted to leave, Rick Nash wanted to leave because Jeff Carter left. Artemi Panarin wanted to be a Ranger. Bobrovsky wanted a ridiculous contract. PLD was just having a PLD moment. It's not the city, it's not the team. It's just unfortunate, just bad luck for you guys that random guys just wanted to leave.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, the one thing I'm curious about is Torts' contract is up with the Blue Jackets after this season. Granted, it doesn't go against cap hit, but he's getting paid a lot less than the other coaches of his caliber in the league.
Yeah.
What if Yarmo doesn't want to pay that? Okay, bye. Now what? Who's out there for us to get? Like Gerard Gallant, or like is he going to be the? I don't know who would come in. I mean,
you guys could go. Oh, geez, who was the former Predators head coach? He also coached Carolina at one point. I forget his name now. Just go get that guy.
Didn't he go to Washington?
Oh, he might have. I don't know. You'll
like my whole thing is I'm 50-50 on it, honestly, because I love Torts. First off, I love his no BS attitude. He'll tell you how it is. The players that have maturity respect it because they know where they stand. Fine. But on the other side, maybe we'll get a coach that's actually is offensive minded. Like he wants more offense rather than playing this defensive core nonsense that we've been playing. Because these 2-1, 3-2, 1-0 games that we're constantly playing in, dude, it's ridiculous. It's insane. I can't keep doing it. Like I'm going to end up having a heart attack because these games are so close. Like every single time the Blue Jackets are in a game and they're up by 1 and the other team is empty net, I have to sit there and pace because I have no idea if the other team's going to score or not. For example, the Panthers the other night scored with like 12 seconds left or 2 seconds left. Shocker. It happens to the Blue Jackets for some reason. I mean, I know it happens to everybody, but it's happening to us regularly and it's frustrating. But
hey, you guys can always go get Mike Babcock to make him be your head coach.
I'll pass. I will pass.
Hey, if you want an offensive minded coach, just go get Mike Babcock.
Speaking of him, what was it? I think last week there was an NBC Sports game and he was on it. Did you hear the embarrassing apology or whatever he had for the situation with Mitch Marner?
Oh, that
it was a mistake, and but like, dude, he basically said that everything that the players and Mitch Marner and everyone else has said is it's a lie, and here's his situation, which is nonsense.
Yeah, if you go read Pierre LeBrun's article he did for The Athletic, he sat down with him and asked about all the situations that happened around Marner and with Pierre Franzen and Mike Bandana and all that stuff. He was saying that it was just a whole bunch of stuff. Go look that article up by Pierre LeBrun from The Athletic when he talked to Mike Babcock. But that was Mike Babcock. I like how we go from, I forget who the dude was before him, to Babcock now on NBC. I'm like, can we get someone that's not a complete
I hated the fact that they said, Mike Babcock's going to come in. Like, why are we doing this? He left Toronto, one of the biggest markets after all this nonsense. And then now we're like, hey, let's bring him into NBC Sports.
And now you why NBC Sports is no longer going to cease after this year. It's not because of him, but they make bad decisions.
Yeah. So the Blue Jackets, both of their goalies are, man, they're heating up. Corpy was standing on his head last night. Elvis is getting in his groove early. Like,
hey, we saw some Corpy jumps, Corpy hugs. So
yeah, I mean, with his play last night, I mean, I know Torts is wanting to go back and forth And so far he has of switch off every game. Corpy
Yeah.
started the first game, then Elvis, Corpy, Elvis, so on and so forth. With how Corpy played last night, barring that we actually play, which may not happen, as we stated earlier with the Chi-Town guys, would you start him again? Or do you put in Elvis? I mean, I can see where he kind of has these tough decisions to make. I think
you have to ride the hot hand. Unfortunately, with the Blackhawks, we're all saying play Lincoln. There's a good, and even Colleton said he's like, we might not even ride the hot hand of the goal. We still might switch off to give these guys more chances. And I'm like, can we just not do this rotation? If this guy's going to be hot, can we just ride with him? So I would love to have the situation you guys have where it's like, both these guys are so good. Who do we go with? For us, it's like, can we pick one guy who's really good and just stick with him, please?
Yeah.
The situation.
I don't know. I mean, I think having our goalies is, coming halfway down the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really going to help us out, because then you have some of these teams where you have one big goalie and then your backup is mediocre.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt them, because then it's okay. Well, we're going to play, say the Senators somehow get going. What are you going to do? Play Matt Murray every single game?
Yeah.
You can't do that, because these games are every other day. A lot of back-to-backs. Like, you can't sit there and play one guy every single game, because then he's going to get exhausted and he's going to end up hurting himself.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to help us from a Blue Jacket standpoint in the long run. If we can get our scoring figured out. If we can get that figured out, I think we'll be fine, and we'll be in the playoffs again and go from there and win the cup. And, we'll have, it's fine.
Yeah. You just got to go through Tampa first, but sure. Let's go with that.
I'm telling you what, after the sweep that we had in the playoffs, and then after the playoffs again last year, and the times we played them last regular season, and then so far this season, I swear we are their kryptonite. I don't understand what it is. A lot of people are saying that, I can't stand the Penguins. I absolutely hate the Penguins. And, before it was, the Blue Jackets and Penguins, but really the Penguins, their rival is the Flyers. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then we started playing the Capitals, and we played them really, really well. So in my eyes, that was kind of our rival for however long.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's Tampa now, whether people want to admit it or not, because, we kicked their ass in the playoffs and swept them, and they were pissed. Then they came back the next year, they beat us, and then they went to win the Stanley Cup. But what happened in the first game? We took them to 39 overtimes, played a 6.5 hour long game.
Yeah.
And they squeaked one out at the end because Braden Point throws it, and a shot goes off of Gavrikoff's shoulder, one of our best defensemen. And then he just kind of like falls over and he's hurt. I mean, he's like leaning over. So automatically you kind of lost one of your defensemen. So they're essentially on the power play. But then a shot comes back 2 seconds later, and Braden Point gets it. I think it was bar down, but still, like, we do that. And then the first game was a close one this year, and then we gave them their only regulation loss. Like, I love watching the Blue Jackets in Tampa play. It is so much fun. It's so enjoyable seeing that.
Well, I mean, speaking of scoring for you guys, because I know you're asking where is the scoring going to be at. I mean, you guys got Laine in like 48 hours. I mean, there's your scoring right there. Laine is going to light it up for you guys. I think.
I hope
it's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. I mean, I don't think he's going to. I don't think we're talking like 40 goals this year. I mean, it's a short season, but
no, he's not.
That dude's going to light it up for you guys. He's going to light it up for you guys. No doubt.
For sure. I think he's going to be a big key to our offense, but not in the way that a lot of people think is. I think obviously he's going to get a lot of goals. Don't get me wrong. He's going to get a lot of goals, and he's going to get a lot of power play goals. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is it's going to be a Panarin situation where Laine is going to come in, and then people are going to be like, "Oh, this is the guy we got to protect." So they're going to have, double team him, and that's going to give guys like Cam the ability to, go and get more breakaways, or he's going to be on the opposite side wide open for a shot, or get ready for a one-timer, or hey, he's at the back door and he can just throw one in.
Yeah.
That's what Panarin did. Granted, he was a master with the puck, but he drew more attention to let other guys like PLD and Cam Atkinson get more open space. I think Laine is going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, the difference between Laine and Panarin is Laine shoots more from out wide. Like, he's farther away from the net. And I think a lot of that's hard to stop because you don't expect it. Like, if you look at his goals from the first game, he almost has a breakaway against Calgary, and he takes a wrist shot from 20 feet away. Like, you don't see that very often. So he's just going to rear back and I mean,
his wrister is ridiculous. I mean,
no, it's nuts.
Well, then here's the next thing though. With the Laine coming in, who do you take out? Do you take out Nash? Do you take out Grigorenko? Do you take out Robinson? Like, who do you slide out to put in Laine for you guys?
So we actually got this question on Twitter also. Shout out to Little Boomer. So I will read his question also. With Laine about ready to enter the lineup for the Blue Jackets, who will be the odd man out? The history says it will be Robinson, but why? He's absolutely without a doubt not the 12th forward on this team. Could it be Grigorenko or Nash or even Cam? Cam, no. I'm going to tell you that right now, no. Right now, I don't think he has shown a reason to be taken out. He's still trying hard. I mean, he's not getting offensive production, but honestly, other than Tex and Oliver Bjorkstrand, who is?
Yeah. Maybe Nash. I would say Nash might be the guy that might get taken out, honestly.
I mean, I was going to say Robinson up until last night.
Yeah.
He got his breakaway goal. I was 100% on board of the train to take out Eric Robinson. But now I have no idea, honestly. I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
I don't think Grigorenko will be taken out because he still has, granted, he hasn't played in 3.5 years, but he's still, I consider him a veteran. He has a lot of the experience from the KHL, and he has a lot more vision than a lot of these other guys have. I would not take him out. I mean, out of your choices, I'd probably take out Riley Nash.
Yeah.
But again, there's a veteran presence that I don't want to remove. I don't envy Torts at all with having to make these decisions, trying to figure out who he's going to take out, because
or he could just probably rotate guys out, honestly. I mean,
yeah, he could, but that's the one problem we have now is we have, from a Blue Jacket standpoint, we have so many guys that we think are worthy to be in the lineup. We got like 15 guys who should be. I think Stenlund should be a regular in our lineup, but he's not. I mean, Kevin Stenlund is what, 6'4", 6'5", with a nasty shot and a beautiful mane of hair, but
yeah, it's crazy.
He's not. And then I see these people that are all aboard the train to have Nathan Gerby play 24/7. Like, I'm sorry, he does nothing. He brings the grit, but he doesn't do anything for me.
I love Gerbs, but
no, I do too. I'm not
an everyday guy.
I love Gerby.
Oh, no, I know. I get what you're saying. Yeah, it was just not every day. So
like, he is great in the lineup when we need to have that presence.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a perfect guy for the taxi squad and stuff like that. But honestly, man, I have no idea. Like, out of those, I'd say probably Nash. If Bemstrom was still in, 100% it'd be Bemstrom. I mean, but let's be real here. I don't know. Laine is not going to sit. I'll tell you that much. He's not going to sit. No. So it's a fact of who do you take out?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And we'll see if Laine is ready to go for Tuesday's game.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. If he plays Thursday, we'll see what Robinson does on Tuesday, because if he's mediocre, he'll probably end up coming out, and then the lines will be kind of moved around and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of interesting in my opinion, but
I know. Yeah. I know earlier you talked about Torts probably leaving. If that'd be an interesting situation. I've heard rumors of Foligno possibly leaving. I don't know by what way. Do you think the Jackets will name a new captain, or do you think they're going to go down the Ottawa route where they're going to do 3 alternates until they figure one out? Because could you see any guy stepping up into Foligno's shoes if he even does leave as
So
the next captain?
I guess to add on to that, it's his contract is up after this year.
Right. Okay.
So he'll
Yeah,
be
I didn't know. I didn't know.
agent.
Yeah, I didn't know how many years he had left. I've just
Yeah.
heard rumors and I've seen things on Twitter about what the Jackets are going to do with Foligno.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your thoughts.
So, I mean, he's 33.
on it.
He's got a modified no trade clause, no move clause, so he's not going to get traded. I mean, and the guy loves Columbus. That's the thing. It's so
He's got so much going on down there with you guys. It's with the hospital, the Children's Hospital, and all that stuff.
in
Doesn't
my
he have a
opinion,
foundation down there too.
yeah. So it's the Janice Foligno Foundation.
That's right. That's right. I knew it was
Um,
something like that.
Yeah, they do some awesome work. His wife just wrote a book.
Okay.
It's a children's book talking about battles with heart disease and stuff like that, which is pretty sweet.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
I mean, he's got a $5.5 million cap hit. My opinion
That's not a lot.
no, it's not. But we need to sign Laine. That's my thing. And then we have, in retrospect, no, it's not a lot. All right, $5.5 million is not a lot for your captain. Absolutely not. But
No.
here's the issue: in the next 2 years, okay, we have nobody signed through the next 2 seasons other than we have Gavrikov, whose contract is up after the 22-23 season. The other 2 guys is Oliver Bjorkstrand and Cam Atkinson, and that's it. Every single other person has an expiring contract.
Even both of your goalies.
Yeah. So both of our goalies,
Jeez.
both Elvis and Corpy, are going to be unrestricted free agents after next season.
Oh, that's rough.
So
yeah, you guys are. I don't. You see, you don't envy Torts. I don't envy Yarmo because that's gonna be a lot of dealings you're gonna have to do for the next few years
I mean,
to try to get 98% of your roster taken care of.
well, I will say this.
That's crazy.
This is my thoughts about the goalie situation. I'm not going to touch on it a lot.
Mhm.
They're both not going to sign. They're 100%. Both of them will not be signed with us past that year. It will be one of them, and it will be a long deal.
Who do you think?
I have
Who
no
would you
idea.
Okay.
I have no idea who it would be.
That'll probably be an off-season podcast where we're gonna have to do just deep dive into goalie contracts for both
sure.
for both of our teams. So
I mean, they
be on
both
the lookout for
have-
that in the off-season.
they in my eyes, they both have a justification as to why. Corpy is a solid and consistent guy, but
Yeah.
Elvis, I think you get a lot more of an upside with Elvis. He has a higher ceiling, but Corpy is just so solid and consistent. It's, what do you want in the future? Now, my opinion, Elvis is going to be a higher cap hit. So do you really want to do that? Do you want to go down that route? Or do you want to stay with Corpy, who most likely will have a lower cap hit?
Honestly, in my opinion, you go with the guy who's got the more upside and who can prove that he can do it longer. Because is Merzlikins younger?
They're both the same age. That's why
The
this
same
is
age?
so weird. Yeah, they're both 26.
Oh, gee.
Anyways.
I still go with the guy with the more upside, honestly, and ride with him.
Yeah. Anyways, we
opinion.
can do just
Yeah.
a deep dive on that stuff later on.
Oh yeah, for sure, no
Um,
doubt. I'm just saying right now, if I had to pick, I'd go with the guy with the most
Yeah.
upside, in my opinion.
So back to Foligno. We have
That's
so many
tough.
guys. If he wants to stay with Columbus, my opinion is, and we keep a majority of our roster.
Mhm.
Riley Nash, his contract is up after this year. Mikko Koivu, he's 37. Do I see him signing with us next year? I have no idea.
Yeah.
You get to that age. I don't know. Not a clue. Mikhail Grigorenko, he came in. Do I see him re-signing with us? Maybe. It just kind of depends if there's another team that wants him that bad that's saying, oh, this guy is really good. Right
Yeah.
now, he's not proving himself enough for another team to want him. So at this point in time, would he re-sign? Yeah. David Savard, Do I see him re-signing with us? I hope so, but I don't know because we have so many defensemen that, my opinion right now, we have David Savard and Michael Delzato that both of their contracts are up after this year. My eyes, who do we re-sign? Delzato, because it's a lower cap hit. He is just as good. I mean, granted, he doesn't block as many shots as Savard, but from an offensive production and point production, he's better.
Yeah.
Now, I have a 9-game pool to pick from to look at that. Now, I could look back at all of his other games with New York and Anaheim and stuff, but that's not what we want to do. We want to look at him under this defensive structure.
I mean, he's played for Torts before, so he knows he knows the structure of the defense. So,
but with the amount of guys that are going to be leaving, like Seth Jones and Zach Werenski, their contracts are up at the same time. Like it's insane the amount of stuff that we have to deal with. So
it's clear though that Jones might want to leave, and Werenski is itching to go back to Detroit.
Yeah, but his contract is up, and he's a restricted free agent with arbitration. So
and
they can lock him up.
And Yarmo is not going to let that happen. So
no. So it's, I mean, if Foligno signs an extension, honestly, it needs to be a team-friendly deal. He's going to have to take a hit.
Oh, I think he would.
I think he would. I do too. But how much do you want to say? Is $4 million team friendly? No,
that's more like
go down to $2 million. I think we could swing that because
I would say about 3.5 would be a nice middle.
Because after this year, I mean, what is it? Brandon Dubinsky's $5.8 million goes away. Now he's on LTIR right now, but that goes away. We stopped paying Scott Hartnell it's his last year of his buyout clause. So I don't know. Do I see Foligno returning? Honestly, yes, but they better figure out something with the contract. Now, if he does not return, who do I think will be captain? There's 2 answers to this. Who should be the captain? Short answer, Seth Jones. I will say that 100% it should be Seth Jones, but only if he signs an extension. If he signs an extension prior to next year, slap the C on Seth Jones. If Foligno doesn't return, call it a day.
Yeah.
Now, who will it be? If Seth Jones doesn't sign an extension, while I don't necessarily agree that it should be, it'll probably be Cam.
I can see that. I can see Cam possibly.
After this season, we have him for 4 more years.
He's been with you guys for a while too, so Cam would make sense if they don't go with 3 alternates. I see Atkinson being the guy for you guys.
I could. I mean, I could see it happen. Now, if he were the captain, would we have other alternates? My eyes, yeah. We would have. So if Cam were the captain, I would say Boone Jenner and Seth Jones would stick with having an A. Mm-hmm. And I would throw the other one on Oliver Bjorkstrand because he's going to be here for 5.5 more seasons. So throw it on him. He's really growing as a player. So throw an A on him, and he deserves it right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would definitely give it to Bjorkstrand as an A.
Oh,
without
100%.
a doubt. Without a doubt.
So our last thing is I wanted to get your opinion on some fantasy sleepers between the Blue Jackets and the Blackhawks.
Okay.
My opinion is, and I guess it's not necessarily as much of an opinion as I've looked at some stats too.
Yeah.
And looking at the percentage of teams that they're on compared to their offensive production, how many points they get, yada, yada.
Yeah.
For the Blue Jackets, I've got Oliver Bjorkstrand and Mikko Koivu.
Mm-hmm. Solid picks.
Granted, Koivu has played 2 games, but his first game got an assist. And he got a goal last night. Or I'm sorry. I'm confused. He has a goal and an assist so far at minimum.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a solid, consistent veteran presence and the guy that we need to continue to have in the lineup. Mm-hmm. I've looked at it also for the Blackhawks side, and I have Kevin Lankinen and Pius Suter. I know Suter is a young guy, but statistically he's going to have a solid year points wise. And then Lankinen, I mean, he's just a good goalie. You know, the more shots you're blocking, you're keeping the other teams down to a low goals for.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get you points constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Would you have anyone different for either of the teams? Or I know you know the Blackhawks a little bit better than I do. Is there anybody else that you would think of?
I would say for the Blackhawks, if you're not talking about Kane, you know, Duncan Keith, the guys who you know can get constant points, I would say probably you go with Lankinen for sure. You have to go with him because he's been solid. I would say either go for Dominic Kubalik because he did score 30 goals last year in a shortened season. He's got a couple of the goals already this year. He's got some assists, so I definitely say go for him because he has that scoring touch. If I had to pick one other guy, possibly, I would say Connor Murphy for defense. He's really solid. He does get you some goals here and there, but he gets you a lot of assists, a lot of block shots. He gets you enough to get you somewhere where it's decent for that. So I would say Lankinen and then either Kubalik or Murphy would be a solid option if you're going for a player, a forward or a defender. For the Blue Jackets, I would say if we're not talking about guys like Bjorkstrand and Merzlikins or all the big names, if we're talking like guys that you're not everyone would be talking about. Is that what we're going for? Alex?
Yeah, just like not big guys that obviously
Right.
Patty Kane's going to get you points, but
Yeah.
guys that you wouldn't
So
normally
basically,
think of.
Bjorky or any of those guys. Oh geez, I would say maybe. I would maybe say Boone Jenner. I would say maybe for you guys. If I had to pick one other guy, oh jeez, I would still say Merzlikins because everyone's picking Corpy because everyone knows what he can do. I would say if you want to get a goaltender and take a flyer on maybe him starting half the games in the year, I would go with Merzlikins, honestly, just to. Why not? Because if you don't get a goalie that's an everyday guy, but if you want to get that solid guy who's like maybe your number 2 or maybe your third, if you ride with 3 goalies, because I usually go with 3 goalies all throughout the season just to be safe in case the other guys aren't starting or something like that.
Yeah,
I would say you pick Merzlikins as a number 2 if you know he's going to play a lot of games, or as a solid number 3 who's going to get you nights where your normal starters aren't going to play, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
So I would say Elvis and I would say Boone Jenner. I wish I could give you a better answer than that, but Blue Jackets for me is kind of like who would you really pick outside of Bjorkstrand or Foligno or Cam Atkinson and those guys? It's kind of
Rick Nash.
You know how it is. Yeah, it's kind of tough to pick like outside of the main guys who you go for because Laine is going to get you points. So
yep, we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, for sure. But that will wrap up episode 4. Big shout out to Chi-Town Pucks for joining us tonight to talk about the Blackhawks. Got a lot of good stuff out tonight, NWHL stuff, jerseys, a lot of big news from around the league. But it's been an exciting night, man. Good 4th episode. And I'm, ready to see how the rest of this week goes. Hopefully we play tomorrow. If not, I guess we'll see you guys for the next, whenever we see you guys next.
Yep.
And enjoy another week of hockey, if my team gets to play this week or not, depending on what the COVID protocols, but we'll see how it goes. But, you guys can find me at RightTribe22 on Twitter. You can find us at Cannon Hawks Pod as well. And you can also follow Alex at @Nuttall_CBJ. Check us out on all podcast platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast. I think we're going to try to get on a couple others as well. Make sure to check out bellyupsports.com for all the articles. Other podcasts are over there too. Check out articles. Alex just dropped one. Mine should be coming out soon, so make sure to give our articles a read and just check out all the Belly Up podcasts as well. Give all of them a follow because a lot of good stuff that's coming out really soon with this. But Alex, man, it's been a great night.
Yep.
always fun to talk hockey with you every week. So I'm excited
Always
for what
a blast.
episode. Yeah, I'm excited to see what episode 5 brings for us for sure. Hopefully some more wins for both of our teams.
I sure hope so. Yeah, and if you guys are still listening, just a little nice spicy little tip. Go ahead and mark off April 10th on your calendar. We're not going to tell you why. No particular reason. It's a Saturday. If you guys are Blue Jackets or Blackhawks fans, figure it out. If you guys can figure it out, maybe we'll do a giveaway for you. Who knows? But if just go ahead and mark that day off on your calendar. We'll tell you in time.
Yeah, we'll let you know as we get closer. So put a little circle or maybe star it or highlight it. So, some pretty cool is going to happen, and we might. Actually, I'm not even going to tell you. You're just going to have to wait.
Nope.
Little teaser for you.
Awesome. Well, Zach, it's been a blast, man. I'm glad we were able to get the Chi-Town guys on here with us. But until then, guys, next week, I'm Alex. That's Zach. And we hope you guys have a good rest of the week. Go Jackets, go Hawks, and just live the dream. Watch hockey.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.